All right, welcome everyone to another episode of How to Run Profitable Retreats. And I am so excited that today I have here Brady, and he's going to be talking about actually hosting retreats and the yacht industry. And I think this is so cool. We were just having a conversation on how actually, like, in a world where retreats are not going anywhere, we're going to be growing, we're going to be expanding. People do want to go on intentional traveling. We need to find different ways on how we can create a unique proposition, something special, something that no one else is offering. And I think Brady has exactly that, and he has created that for his business. So let me tell you a little bit about him. So Brady is a seasoned entrepreneur with a rich history in travel and retreat industry. Like, he will tell you a little bit more about this, but he has been in the travel industry for so long. He's really the person you want to be talking to if you think about hosting retreats in a yacht or you're interested. And of course, at the end, we have a surprise for you because you're part of this community. And he has transformed his early venture into a thriving business spanning 18 countries and generating seven-figure annual revenue. His diverse portfolio includes life before work, a tour company, nomad life, a co-living space, island life, that sounds amazing, a personal growth festival, and yacht life, which offers sailings experiences. And currently, Brady is like focused on hosting retreats on yachts in Croatia and supporting other retreat organizers in creating their own meaningful experience on the water. And we'll talk a little bit more about like what's the thing about like hosting a retreat on the water rather than on like land, right? And he's deeply passionate about crafting transformative experiences that affect significant positive change in people's lives. So thank you, Brady, so much for being here today and just sharing your knowledge with all of us and just opening up our vision to all the possibilities that retreats hold.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about you, your journey, how you got here, and then let's get some people inspired into creating their own retreat dream business.
Yeah, where to start? It's been a long journey. So I started in the travel industry when I was 19 years old. I started a tour company that started in Thailand, and we operated tours in Thailand, and then slowly expanded it to Bali, and then Brazil and Peru, and we ended up operating trips in 18 different countries, one of which is Croatia. And so that is why I'm here today, is to talk about Croatia. But yeah, in that journey, I really just loved so much creating experiences for people. And when I was 19 years old, it was very much an expression of my 19-year-old self. And so I loved to party and to go on adventures. And so that company was very much a representation of my 19-year-old self. And fortunately or unfortunately, I started to grow up. And when I hit my 30s, I no longer got the fun and the joy out of taking a bunch of people in their early 20s on party-focused trips. And so I started going through my own transition and my own transformation, really wanting to create more impactful experiences and meaningful experiences for people as I was going through, yeah, just my own personal development and exploring new ways of being. And so I was in the process of shifting the company to be more focused on retreat style experiences. And again, unfortunately or fortunately, COVID came in and wiped out the whole company. I ended up going bankrupt and ended up $350,000 in debt and went through a whole big process around that. And so now I'm the Phoenix Rising, creating a new style of experience, supporting retreat organizers and creating some of our own retreats on yachts, which is really, yeah, super exciting because I love being on the water so much. The experience is so incredible. And I kind of got sick of those types of experiences that were very party focused. And so to be able to create a new style of experience that's transformational, that's powerful, that's meaningful, and that people leave feeling inspired and feeling expanded rather than leaving with a hangover. And so, yeah, that's kind of the short version of my story.
Oh, I love it. And I think it's so important for everyone to see that there's ebbs and flows in our businesses, right? Like there's a moment where we're going to be super high, and then there might be a moment where we're very low. And it's part of like growing a business, and expansion is part of that, right? So if you are hosting retreats already, and then you've been doing it in like beautiful houses or venues, and then suddenly like people are like, oh, well, I've been there, or this is available all the time. How can I shift my business model into offering different experiences, right? And I think this is like the perfect place where you come in, because it is true, like people don't want to go into like parties for like forever and just like going into this crazy space with like thousands of people. Like I was just in like this manifestation summit, and it was like 1,000 people. 2 days later I was like, I needed to stay in, like I couldn't be with other people around me, because I was like, I'm overwhelmed by the amount of energy from everyone else. I had to like take some time to like really rest. And I truly believe that retreats are perfect for that, because they allow us to really go and retreat from our daily day-to-day life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Absolutely.
what would happen, like for example, like like you are in a boat, and then you're in a retreat, let's say it's 7 days, like you're definitely outside of your comfort zone, because there's nowhere to go but that boat, right?
Yeah, so the beautiful thing about doing an experience on a boat is exactly that, is the container is very, very clear. There's no escaping. I mean, of course, we're exploring different places each day, and so there is time where you are off the boat. But when you're on the boat, you are getting so close to each other because you're in a smaller space than you typically would be in a regular retreat. And so it creates deeper bonds, it creates deeper connections, and it enables people um, to really look within themselves when everything is right there, condensed into that space. It creates a just a much more powerful container.
Mm. Yeah, I truly believe, like for me, the big piece of like actually doing retreats that are like, in person, because now we have also online retreats, but in person, it's the whole point is the container, right? Like that energy that gets created with all the people that come in. And even thinking about it in this space of like, you might have the same itinerary over and over again, and the experience is never going to be the same.
Hmm. Yeah, another thing is the expansiveness of being on a boat. You're constantly looking out into the vast ocean. And so it creates like a different energetic field
Mm.
of expansion. And so I find that when I'm looking out to a very vast view, especially over the ocean, my mind is expanded in different ways, and I see things differently, and I see more unlimited possibilities. And so
Mm.
it's really powerful to have that as kind of the backdrop of a retreat.
I love that you just said. Like, I think it's so important for us to understand that when we are creating the container for our retreat guests that are coming, that they want to transform their lives, what do they need so you can serve them the best way possible? And I can see like manifestation retreats happening on boats and being so extremely powerful, because just even by basking in the view of like the sunset and the sunrise, and being able to like see the magnificence of the world, the universe in there, it just shows you like, oh my gosh, I could do anything. Like if I am here in the middle of the ocean and I'm like looking at this all this beauty, why can't, or why wouldn't I create that beauty in my day-to-day life?
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, another unique thing about the way that we're structuring it is some of the experiences that we're creating, we're doing it in a co-creative way. So every single person that is participating in the retreat, they are actually contributing to creating that experience. And so each person is offering something to the experience, whether that's a workshop or a yoga class or guiding people through one of the adventures of the day or hosting a dinner. It really creates this collective consciousness, this collective field where it's not one person that's teaching or that's facilitating or that's hosting. everybody is co-creating the experience. And I don't know if you've been to Burning Man, but some of that concept has really I've got that from Burning Man, because that's the concept of Burning Man, is everybody is contributing to the experience and bringing value, and then collectively it just creates this whole different field of magic.
I really like this. And I think this is so unique. Like it's so unique in a way that, and I've been like, I put that inside of my workshops and my group programs. Like people actually, like my students come and present, and then they talk to other people, and then they get to become more visible. And really it comes like it's so deeply connected to the space of like self-worth, removing imposter syndrome, just allowing this, creating this safe space where you can be you and you can share your gifts with the world, regardless of what it is, right? Like just having a seat on the table where you're not just listening to someone teach you for 7 days, but you're actually part of this creative energy. So I really feel this is something that is so unique to what you are creating. That's definitely highly interesting for everyone who's listening to this podcast or watching the live video on Facebook.
Yeah, it's super powerful for everybody to be able to use their voice. And the beautiful thing is everyone can contribute in different ways. And so of course there might be some people that are a little bit more nervous to fully, bring their voice and create something of like, a full 1 hour workshop or something. But each person can kind of contribute in whichever way that they feel comfortable. And so it enables everybody to step in to whatever edge that they're on at that moment. They can kind of find that edge and play with that a little bit in that experience and get to practice, which is super, super powerful.
Yeah, like the only way to get experience in something is through practicing, right? And you gotta do something so many times until suddenly it works. Like the first time you're on video camera, you might be a little bit camera shy, and you're like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this to myself? And then the more you do it, the more you get yourself in that space, the more comfortable you become. And then the better you can actually serve other people, right?
Absolutely. And it shows up in all aspects of life. We don't have to be a retreat facilitator in order to, any time that we are showing up more fully and using our voice in any area of our life, it's more powerful, whether that's in our workspace, in our family, in our relationships, in all different areas of our life. Being able to speak our truth, being able to share fully is super, super important. And so practicing that muscle in whatever capacity that looks like there's so much value in it.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like I truly believe that it's all about like using your voice as a love language, and for that you need to learn boundaries, you need to learn how to communicate. I remember like I've taken courses on like crucial communication, and it's, like crucial conversation has been like so powerful, but also nonviolent communication. And the only way you can do that is in a place where you feel safe, that you feel that everyone else is supporting you, and that you're not the only one with the spotlight. Like there's everyone is putting a piece into the puzzle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about like on more like technical space. So how does it work to like work with you from the space of like, okay, so they reach out to you, and then like there's a quote, and then like they get to Croatia, and then like maybe take us through a journey of like how it feels to go into one of these retreats as a maybe as a retreat host or as a retreat creator.
Yeah, so we kind of have two different offerings. We have an offering that is for people to attend a retreat, more specifically designed for people that are retreat facilitators or are leaders in some way, shape, or form. We're calling that the Voyage of Visionaries, and that's for visionaries to come together to share their voice, to share their gifts, and to learn from each other and to network. So that's one easy way to join and experience a yacht experience. The reason that we're doing that is because our main focus is to help retreat organizers or event creators host their own retreat on a yacht. So we're essentially kind of uh, a concierge service for retreat organizers to be able to rent their yacht, create their itinerary, create their whole experience, and we kind of help people every step of the way to create a really powerful, meaningful retreat or experience. And so it feels really rewarding to be able uh, to not only do our own retreats, but also support others in creating their own retreats, because then we have an even bigger impact, because we're not only just going one-to-one, we're also being able to, by working with one person, they can then reach 30, 40 people on that retreat, and we can have a bigger impact. So
yeah, and it's beautiful for collaboration as well, right? Like people get to know other people who are in the same industry, in the same space, that they're interested in similar things. And also, like just from a very, again, technical point of view, like you get to create all the content that you need, so then you can sell your retreat like properly, and like you have all the pictures and all the things that you require, right?
yeah,
To like
yeah,
actually
that's
go then later on and just host your own. So you go experience it, you figure out if you like it, right? Because maybe like there's a lot of people who might not like to be on a boat, or they think they do, and then 3 days in they're like, I don't think I can actually like be there and then like also host other people and like be able to hold space for this. And other people are gonna be like fish in the water and be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, like how did I not discover this first?
yeah. Yeah, that's part of the reason why we're doing it, is for people to get familiar with the area, understand the boat, understand how everything works, know how the itinerary works. And then we also have professional videographer and photographers that come on board, and they're creating the content individually for each person to
Mm.
then be able to sell their retreat the following year. So it's a really great way to actually have everything you need to be able to successfully run a retreat the following year.
I really like it. And then the other option is, okay, so maybe they went through this, or maybe they don't, but they already done like yacht experiences in the past. And then they can go and then basically they hire you and you help them kind of like a concierge, like you mentioned, right? Like, and then you will help them sort out all the ins and outs, so they don't have to worry about, well, basically ideally just showing up and teaching.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had to go through a lot of challenges in the 10 years that I was running trips in Croatia. One year we had a boat that didn't show up the day that we were supposed to board. And so we had 40 guests that were expecting a trip, and we had to scramble and find a new boat last minute because we had issues with one of the yacht owners. And and we've learned a lot over the last 10 years, and so we can really use that value and that learning over the last 10 years to help people avoid the mistakes that we've made along the way, and make sure that we're working with the right yachts and going to the right places. And we've gone all over that area, so we know all the best islands, we know the best tour operators for each place, and so it really helps to have that knowledge and wisdom to be able to share.
Yeah, for me, something that's very important is like hiring the expert, right? So if you're not an expert in yachts or in Croatia for as this whole thing, right? Why would you invest so much time trying to research here and there and all these pieces when there's like people who are experts on that, who have spent so many years actually curating all these offers and these options, testing and seeing how it works, right? Like the same thing happens, like there is people in like Bali who will help you get the whole process, like even the work visa, right? So this is important in the space of like, you want to choose when you're really thinking about growing a business and creating like a 6 or 7 figure business. You want to think that you're not supposed to be the one doing absolutely everything, and you want to think, oh, where's my zone of genius, right? Like where's the place where I really thrive, and that's where you want to spend your energy, right? Like that might be on the sales part of it. It's very, very important because it's your energy. It might also be in you teaching, right? Like making sure that the content and the transformation that you're offering inside of your trade is actually happening. But do you need to really go through the ins and outs of like figuring out all the details, specifically when you are dealing with like high end spaces like jets, and then suddenly like I would like freak out if I show up and there's no boat. What do you do then? Like if you don't have someone who's an expert and can actually go find you another boat? Like you would get yourself into so much trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As you were sharing that, it reminded me of a book that I read called Who, Not How.
Hmm.
And so it's all about finding the right people to collaborate with and to work with rather than doing it all ourselves. And there's so much power in that because, like you said, we're not all experts at everything. We all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses. And so finding people that have the strengths that are our weaknesses to collaborate with, it changes everything.
Yeah, I love that book too. Yeah, I am a big fan of Dr. Benjamin Hardy and all his books. But
Mhm.
I've been like in his programs. I have signed myself up to the who not how mindset, and it's so powerful. It's so important for us to realize that we don't have to be doing it all. Like we don't have to be this person who has like 10 different instruments, like the drum in the back and then the harmonica in the front and then all these little things that you squeeze and then you're creating your own music. It always sounds messy when you could actually have an orchestra, when you could
Mhm.
actually have all the people who have spent years and years preparing for this, right? That's why mentors and coaches are so important, and that's why I think we like really connected very easily, because we understand that you don't have to go and learn all the ins and outs of everything from the beginning. Like there's people who have walked that path and they can take you from point A to point Z without you having to figure everything on your own and make your life more complicated. Like if you're good at everything, oh my gosh, go for it, right? But sometimes, like even like I'm a mentor for people hosting retreats, and I have mentors. You know what I mean? Like I meet people on my corner as well. So it's this beautiful place of community where you start growing and then you get more opportunities and more experiences. And I truly believe that you have like mastered the yacht industry in Croatia. And I'm sure like if we put you anywhere else to do it, you would like thrive as well, because like you have like done it so much that like you're great at it. And you could like deal with any like situation that could happen. Like I mean, like I don't know, if you jump in the water and then there's like a stingray and they hurt the person, what do you do? Like if you're on your own and maybe you hired like a yacht and you have like some random crew that you don't like, they might not even speak the language, your language.
Mhm. Yeah. One thing that came up as you were sharing that is how beautifully humbled I've been after, because with my old company, I had a team at the peak, we had a 50-person team. And so, there was a lot of support that I had through the company. And when I lost the company and had to start back to zero again, I was doing things on my own, and I realized, wow, I am so useless without a really strong team around me. And it really humbled me a lot because I realized, yeah, I mean, there was a part of me that I think thought that I kind of had it all figured out and had, it was like I played such a big role in everything. And of course I did, but without the team, I wouldn't have done nearly what we were able to accomplish in that company. And so starting back from zero without a team has been a really beautiful, humbling experience to realize that yeah, it takes a village, let's say.
Yeah, it totally does. Like at the end of the day, like if we even think about Apple, yes, there was a great idea, but there were people necessary, right? And people are still needed in that space. And nowadays we are growing a little bit into the space now with AI and everything. Like, like a friend has a marketing agency and then from 50 staff, they went to 16 because of all the things that now AI can do, right? So we want to think about also that in the space. Like there's something that AI will never be able to accomplish. And that's really like caring for people. It's just about care and love. Like it doesn't matter like how much it develops and how much you can train it, your energy and your imprint and like you as your business as a business owner will never be changed by that. Like your passion, your why, the reason, your purpose, the reason you do things, it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just get the tools and the help, right? And if that's AI, that's AI. But like the in-person experience will never lose its value because of it. Because being in person with other humans, it's so powerful. And I think the pandemic really taught us that, right? Like how lonely you can be if they
Mm-hmm.
exclude you from your community.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really why I'm still very excited to be creating these experiences, because I know no matter what happens, humans want to gather. They want to share experiences together. They want to be social and they want to learn and grow from each other. And so no matter what happens with the future of AI and so many of these things that we're facing in our times, we will always want to gather and we will always want to be inspired by each other, and nothing can replace a powerful, meaningful, shared experience with other people.
I love that. Okay, Brady. So let's say someone wants to talk to you. How do they reach out to you? And also, like, just FYI, if you mentioned that you listen to this in our podcast, How to Run Profitable Retreats, or you mentioned my name, Lainey, they will have a surprise for you, because like we love community building and we love helping each other in a beautiful way where we can all basically host more retreats, change more people's lives, and create beautiful impact in the world. So if they want to find you, how can they find you? Where do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so the website is expandyachts.com without an E. So XPAND yachts.com. So that's where we have all our information about the different yacht trips and how to create your own retreat on a yacht. And if you just want to reach out to me personally, probably the easiest would be on Instagram. My Instagram name is Brady's_life. And so that's probably the best way to get a hold of me and check things out. And yeah, I'm very, very open. I love chatting with people. I love sharing my experience and my knowledge and wisdom with people, especially people in the retreat industry. So don't be shy. Would love to chat.
That's amazing. And I'll drop all the links in the caption so you don't have to worry about typing down Expand Yachts or like Instagram. So you'll get access to that. So you can reach out to him. Don't forget to mention that like you heard it here. It's also for me great to know that people are valuing the content of the podcast. So if you feel like you want to like give us a rating or a comment below. Thank you so much. We want more people to hear about this. So please share it with all the people you think would be amazing. And thank you for joining us here, Brady, today. This has been absolutely amazing.